Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another Tell Me More. Today we are skipping the 5 love languages and we are actually reading a email. I'm very excited. If you guys know Tell Me More from when it first started, originally that's what Tell Me More was. It was basically a gossip, advice, everything girl talk column really, and I'm so excited because someone sent me an email and she was kind enough to let me share it, which is usually the case for Tell Me More if you send it through the Tell Me More email. And I'm just so excited. I really love connecting with you guys. I really appreciate when you let me share your stories. A lot of the time it's because they want advice or they need someone to talk to, they just want girl talk. And the reason why I share it with you guys is because this is a community. We are all friends here. We are all honest and real with each other. I show you guys my life. I show you maybe not every single vulnerable part, but I share a lot of myself with you guys, and you guys do the same with me, especially on Tell Me More. If you guys go in the comments on Tell Me More, I feel like it's the most raw and connected we are, and I love that because that's genuinely what I want my channel to be, a community of just real people. So I'm gonna get into it. I'm very excited. I am gonna read it out loud. I wish I had a co-host, but it's just a me show for now. I wish Clemmy could read because then I would make her read the story and then we could like talk about it back and forth. But as of now, it's just me. And today's drink of the day is of course a lemon drop martini, but it's in a fun cup. It's not in my typical martini glass just because I wanted a lot more. In the martini glass, you don't get that much, you know? And I'm at home, so I'm gonna make a lot. The lemons were a little bit bitter, I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. But regardless, cheers to you. Okay, let's get on with the story. I hope I don't bore you with my voice. I'm gonna give you my best child development teacher voice, okay? I feel like I can't move forward and have been stuck in this delayed heartbreak feeling for over 2 years now. I dated someone right before the pandemic and we connected more than I had with anyone else on every level. We used to work together and there were many things making me hesitate about getting into a serious relationship at the time. I had recently gotten over a long-term relationship and wasn't emotionally ready. To be honest, I was scared. He was 4 years younger than me and he was so into me and putting pressure on committing to something serious. I gave in and I fell fast. I didn't want to get hurt again and I didn't want to hurt him. I had only been in toxic relationships too, and he was the complete opposite. He was sweet, generous, kind, patient, and smart. We both fell for each other quickly and things seemed almost magical, like we were soulmates. Then he kept wanting more and more of my time and I wanted to give him more, but I didn't have much left to give. At the end, I had multiple jobs and was starting a small business and I started feeling overwhelmed and broke up with him suddenly. Things were complicated with my living situation as well and I couldn't have him over, ever. I missed him, but I also felt it was the only option at the time. I broke up with him in a really immature way and texted him about it. I felt if I told him in person, I would chicken out. At first, I felt relieved and got over it quickly, but the heartbreak that eventually happened was a slow burn. Slowly, I started realizing how I had messed things up, maybe forever. I know he made mistakes too, especially with putting too much pressure on me too soon, but I feel so much regret. I lost the job we both had due to the pandemic, and due to that, I also lost touch with my friend group and feel isolated and sad, and have been for so long. I have had many jobs since then and still have my small business, but things have never been the same. My mom also got really sick about 2 years ago and she is bedbound. I have so much going on and it all makes the feelings of heartbreak and regret so much worse. Do you think there would be any point in reconnecting? I don't want to infringe on his healing process if he's over me. I'm also very scared to reach out in the case that he rejects me. It would feel final. I also feel I can't move forward though without getting a definitive answer about whether or not he'd ever be open to dating again. I feel like it's the typical case of right person, wrong time. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so that's the base of the storyline. So I'm gonna let you guys know the extra details that she let me know. If that helps you decide maybe on what you think about her story and what your thoughts are. So a few things, not in order in particular. He was warned that our friend, she didn't want anything serious. He knew about this, as she explains. Both of them receive love with words of affirmation. I'm really glad she added that in. Our friend also has ADHD. At the time of this relationship, she was still living with her ex, which is why it made it complicated for her to have him over. At first when I was reading, I was like, oh, why, I wonder? And I was wondering, maybe she still lives with family, so it's not technically appropriate to always bring a boy over if your family isn't comfortable with it, but it's because she still lived with her ex. I'm not sure if she still lives with her ex or if she doesn't now. I'm assuming that things have changed, but I don't know. And then one of the important but not really important part of this is that they are both Christians. He is a virgin, and her friend was basically rededicating herself to God and Christianity and was refraining from sex. So they were both being celibate together in the relationship. So those are the extra details. Do what you will with them. Okay, going straight into my thoughts. Now, you guys, when I get these emails, and I'm hoping I've learned a lot from the last time I've spoken about an email, but I genuinely am a very unbiased person. I especially have to be unbiased because as much as I want to be all for you guys, I think that everybody tells their story very differently. Everyone who tells their story is not going to be unbiased because you're always going to stand up for yourself, which you should. But that doesn't mean that there is no other side to the story, because there is always another side to the story. Because even me as an unbiased person will always tell a story with a bias, because that's usually how it is. If it's personal, I'm gonna have a bias. So I want you guys to know that as much as I'm sitting here saying, oh, do this, do that, which I'm not, mind you, because it's really not up to me, it's up to you. I really try my best to put myself in your shoes with the little amount of detail that I know what you guys share with me and really see both sides. So I'm gonna try my best here. I'm also very real, where I'm gonna tell you if I think something's wrong, or I'm gonna tell you if you're gonna do something wrong. And the only reason I'm giving you that kind of disclaimer is because the first thing that popped out to me personally is at the end of the email, our friend was explaining how lonely she is, and maybe that's why the heartbreak is kind of coming down on her harder, especially with our friend here having a mom who is stuck at home in bed because she's sick, which I'm so sorry to hear about you. I'm praying for you and your mom and your family just in general and her health. But I think with all of those coming down on you so hard, I can't help but think, is it really that you miss him, or is it that you just miss somebody to talk to? Because she mentions that she lost a lot of friends, or she's lost touch with friends because she was laid off from her job because of the pandemic. Obviously the heartbreak with this guy, and then her mom, and just everything. And of course the course of life is not freaking fun at all. So I understand, of course, but I just would hope that the reason you reach out to him is because you genuinely miss him and his company and who he was, instead of because I'm lonely. And trust me, I know the feeling, and sometimes you're just gonna have to do it, but really think about it, even though it's already been 2 years. So I know that's all you've been doing, but just maybe think about that. I know that she's also explained that he's a really nice guy. He's also so genuine, he's nice, he's the sweetest person ever. She's like head over heels for him. Of course. He is 4 years younger, remember that. I don't know how old our writer here is, our friend is, but 4 years younger. Let's say hypothetically you're like, let's say you're my age. I'm 27, almost 28, so he's like what, 23, 25? I mean 23, 24. That's pretty young, I'm not gonna lie. Also, the fact that he pushed you into this relationship is a really big deal. Like, I just feel like he didn't really hear you out. As much as he's a sweet person and he treated you well, I feel like he didn't really take into consideration how you felt. And even though the outcome was a good thing because you fell for him, he technically didn't respect you still. He didn't respect your boundaries. He didn't respect what you were saying. And at the end, he still wasn't listening to you. And that's why you got overwhelmed and broke up with him. There was a problem. That's why you broke up with him. Because if you're saying that it was as good as you say it was, I feel like there would have never been a point where you were like, oh my gosh, no, this is too much, I'm ending it. Do you get what I mean? Does that make sense? But at the end of the day, it's not that she wrote to me or us because she wanted me to pinpoint what was wrong. Her main question was, do you think there would be any point in reconnecting? That was her main question, and that's probably what she wants advice on. And to me personally, as much as I want to be the strong bitch who's like, no, let it go, you deserve better. If he wanted it, he would have come back, he would have listened to you, all these things, right? There's always something. There always is. But I'm also a very firm believer in going until you can't go. And that depends on the person. That really does. But I believe in second chances, and I believe in third chances, and so on and so forth. As long as someone proves to you that they deserve that chance, I believe in giving it to them because it's not fair. And I would want that second chance as well. You are the only one who gets to decide how many chances you give out. And you get to decide when that line is drawn and you say, no more, I'm over it. But if your heart in the last 2 years has only thought of him and has only yearned for him, I feel like you're right. You need that answer to be able to move on. So I say just reach out. If he denies you and rejects you, it's gonna hurt like a bitch. In the case that you guys do end up working things out, I think the first few things you do need to cover, and I wrote them down, yes. One, I don't think it was appropriate that he ambushed you into a relationship which then caused you to break up with him because he was literally just like a leech and just sucked all the blood out of you. And I also wonder why he was like so adamant about being in a relationship and just needing more of you. I don't know if that's because of his immaturity. And I'm not saying that because I don't believe in an age gap. I'm saying that because I don't know what his age is. I can't tell, especially because our writer didn't express to me what her age was. And as much as I do believe, I don't think that age gaps are wrong. However, I do think that they can cause a lot of harm to a relationship depending on how much you have grown mentally. And some people are grown very much at a young age. Some people aren't. Scientifically, biologically, men are not as smart as women early on in the age. So depending on what his age is, I'm trying to understand why he so was like, we need to be together, like fast, everything right now, you know, and like couldn't just chill and like take your word. Like, I don't know if he's been hurt before or he's been in a situation where the girl like, or maybe that's just how he acts when he really likes a girl. That's totally fine, but I just don't think that he didn't respect you, which brings me to my number 2. He didn't respect you enough to slow down when you asked to slow down. And when you explain something like, hey, this is too much for me too fast, I feel like he just was like, so let's still go, you know? And you were pressured and you felt like, oh my God, you know, but you still went with it. But I just think the disrespect lies under the fact that he didn't listen to you. I'm very big on communication. You also say that words of affirmation is your guys' love language, and I'm just feeling like he didn't really do that very much. He's not really listening and hearing you and doing what he needs to do in order to make you feel loved. Last thing is, I think if you do reconnect with him, I think you need to lay it down very flat and straight out and be like, hey, one of the things is, if, by the way, he doesn't know, because I couldn't tell if he knew or didn't know, but I think it's good to come clean about the fact that he couldn't come over because you were living with your ex at the time. I think start clean, completely clean. Everything on the table, tell him everything you've got, what the worries were, and whatever. And if he doesn't take it, he doesn't take it, and it wasn't meant to be, and it's okay. But then you'll have your answer. Or you can go the other route and just forget it all. Just forget it all. I understand. I truly know the feeling of being alone, and I know it's not very fun, and I know some days go very slow, because all you do is wonder about when you're not gonna be alone. Trust me, I know. I may not know exactly how you're feeling, but I know the general idea of it. I feel like I am numb, and I feel like sometimes I just kind of wonder if it's even all worth it. But it is. But focus on you. If that's the case and you're just gonna do you, focus on you, do whatever you gotta do, because if it is also meant to be, even if you don't reach out, maybe he'll reach out one day. Maybe if he grows a little bit older, I don't know, he'll finally get it and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I pushed you into a relationship you weren't ready for, you know? I don't know what the situation is. That's how I would handle it in both different ways. I hope you got something out of it. I hope I wasn't just talking out my ass. But if you've been through something very similar, it doesn't have to be exact, but something very similar, dating a coworker or dating someone younger than you or being rushed into a relationship, please go down in the comments and please give us your advice. I want to know what you guys have been through as well, and this is a sharing, open community. But all in all, thank you so much to our friend who wrote to us and asked for our advice. I hope that you are able to do whatever is best for you. Remember, it's not about anybody else except for what you want and what your heart desires and what your brain says to do, because you know the heart and the brain want different things. I hope that everything goes well with you. I'll be praying for your mom. I'll be praying for your small business. I'll be praying for you. I just want to thank you so much for being vulnerable with me and allowing me to share your story. Thank you so much. For those of you who are watching, give this a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!